Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for being here today and spending the time with us. In Utah, the Central Utah Water Project, once completed, will supply water to Utah County, Salt Lake County, many cities, and as so many other places, we're in the middle of a desert. It's an incredibly important project. Last year, Congress appropriated $15 million for their annual budget. The DOI budget had $10 million. They can actually accommodate up to $30 million of work per year. This is a project, as I understand it, that will pay back all this revenue back to the federal government through revenues from the project. Can you give me any insight, or are you familiar with the project, about funding and the opportunity to increase that funding up to the appropriations level?
Thank you very much for that question. I am somewhat familiar with CUPCA, and I'd observed that the local governments are very good partners with us on that. They're doing good work. It's a worthwhile, valuable program. In terms of the prospects for appropriations, I think I would leave that to you and your colleagues on the Appropriations Committee. As we develop the president's budget, there are numerous trade-offs that we had to make. But I think we would all agree that CUPCA is a worthy project.
Thank you. I would hope that as you consider the budget, you'd look at the appropriations from previous years and have that be somewhat influential in your decisions. The other big issue in my district is fires on federal land. We had some of the largest fires in the state's history, Pole Creek Fire and Bald Mountain Fire last year. Your written testimony had some information about fire suppression efforts. Could you comment on that, and as well as disaster recovery after these fires?
Yes. So for quite a long time, as I know we're aware, we've had problems with fuels management, both in forest and rangeland ecosystems. That's produced uncontrolled wildfire. And what we're trying to do through our wildland fire budget is to put a bit more emphasis on fuels reduction to reduce the frequency and severity of wildland fire. We are pleased that the Congress provided the opportunity to potentially tap into $300 million in disaster funding if we have a really bad fire year. And the administration's legislation that I hope will be arriving up on the Hill fairly soon will include a comprehensive initiative on active forest and rangeland management, which ought to enable us to get a better handle on more effectively and efficiently addressing wildland fire risks.
Thank you. Really pleased with my constituents' response to this fire. We actually had to send the Red Cross home. They left not because we weren't using them, but because more families came in to volunteer to house families than families that needed housing. And so it was a great response from the community. But there was an underlying frustration that because of the fuels that you mentioned, this didn't need to happen. And appreciate your comments on that. Mr. Chairman, I yield my time.